All right. So I was thinking, since I got several submissions for the homework, I would propose let's start there, and then we can finish up chapter 10, and maybe depending on how we do, time-wise, I do have the first section of chapter 11, the negations already prepared with some examples, so we can go in there, but depends on how we do time-wise. I would say let's start with the exercises for 8 and 9, which was a section out of Wenamun. Everybody who had sent it in did really well. Maybe some minor things to change here and there, but overall very much on point. So I think we should be able to go through that comparatively quickly. I would say if everybody wanted to take like a sentence or two, and I'll just write the transliteration out, and quick commentary on translation and grammar, that would be awesome. So I would say, why don't we just get started there? Who wants the first one?
Okay, I can take it.
All right.
So I got EU, E, and then I added a hair. Iri, R, Sach, R.
Okay, hang on. Yeah.
Abed, 4. I forgot the actual word for 4.
Ibdu.
Ibdu. Shemu, yes.
Shemu, correct.
Should I continue?
That's right. And let's do the next part as well, yeah?
Okay. UEM, Penu, Janet.
That is correct. Okay, all right. And what do you make out of it?
So I turned into, and I spent time there until the 4th month of Shemu. I was inside of Janet. Yeah.
Right. Yeah, Janet, I guess Tanis in English.
Yes.
Jaane in Coptic. So it still lives on there and still has the j sound, interestingly enough. A lot of words lose it, but the city name has it. Yeah, that was perfect. That was spot on. Any comments on grammar or anything else?
I mean, this time it was pretty straightforward. So you have the normal you for the introduction, so and then I added the hair, so it's because it made sense in my brain. I forgot a lot of the grammar. I'm sorry. Yeah.
No, it's right. It's like it is an adverbial sentence, although by the time that Wenamun is riding or traveling circa 1000 BCE, the her very rarely appears, if at all, I think. So by then it's almost like a Coptic already. You just puts the straight infinitive after the UE. But yep, you're right. That's what it historically is. What else can be said? There's a whole bunch of R's being swallowed up. This R isn't really there. It should be there for the preposition, R Shah. There should technically be a second R, but since that's only pronounced like an A at this point in time, I think it's very often not there. Why did I put another R in here? Because I was getting a bit overzealous. Okay. What else? The other cool thing here, maybe a word on this one. This is old. This is not just late Egyptian. So this should be Mchenu. That should be that thing that's written with this sign. Oops. Nah. There we go. Inside. But the thing is, you can make a pun on this one. So the way this pun works is you're writing mu under nu. Let's see why you do that. So you first write mu, nu, and then you write mu underneath. Can't do this in my favorite hieroglyphic font, unfortunately, so I'll just indicate it here. Imagine the nu sitting on top of the mu. So that basically comes, when you pronounce that, mu under her nu. And if you transliterate that, it looks like this. Mu her nu. Now the thing is, the R isn't pronounced anymore. So it's really just mchinu. In other words, it becomes mchinu. Or more classically, am, oops. So that's a really old pun. And the one thing that the author of Wenamun here does is he doesn't use both waterlines, but he only uses two waterlines. So this is what it looks like. But in any case, it's the same pun, the same trick. And that's really all I can say about it.
I had one question.
Go for it.
Sorry. Somebody else was also.
No, you go first. Go first.
Okay. What is that second R in front of Abed actually doing?
Until. So Shah by itself can be followed by another preposition. I think it can be Shah and Shah if I'm not mistaken. But that's
Shah and Shah M. This is the exact same question I was going to ask about. So.
Right, there is something like this.
Because of the ambiguity of that preposition being left off, I wasn't sure if it was meant to be until or since.
I think when you leave the preposition off, you can't really tell. So it's really only a question of context in that case. But let's take a quick look at that. Chapter 8 and 9, right? Was it 9? That would be preposition, so 8.
It's 8. It's chapter 8.
Thank you. It was in my long list of prepositions somewhere. Direction, time. Here we go. So there's an Ersha M for example, here in the story of Horus and Seth. And they leave the M out again. Ersha Pachau or Pacheru from today. And then there's the Ersha until today. So in this case, he's leaving both R's and the final preposition out, like they very often do. So you sort of have to interpret it from context what it means, I think. No clear indication. But
okay, thanks.
In the context of the sentence, it makes sense to assume that it means until. I was staying there, passing time, Iri, until month 4, no day given. And where? In Tanis.
But couldn't you also say I was there since month 4?
It could be, I suppose. I think it could be. I think it's ambiguous. You're right. True, it could be. It wouldn't be wrong, I suppose.
Like, what's that other thing? Isn't there a Coptic thing where up and down are the same word?
Ichrai, yeah.
Exact opposite thing. It's the same word.
Yeah, I'm sure. I mean, if you really had to be super specific, you could do something else, right? Like there's Nefrit, for example, as a preposition. Where did it go? This one here, which I think Nefrit that would be until. I guess if you really would have to be super specific, you could find another way. But honestly, I'm just guessing here, more than I know. Good question, though. Should we do the next one? And I take volunteers as usual. Oops, nope, not this one.
Do you want someone who hasn't done the homework to try?
All right. Feel free to, although this one is a bit tricky because there are a ton of names in there.
Okay. Well, let you lot can help me, okay?
Okay.
Okay. Iuj, Iusu.
Yeah, close.
Right?
Very close.
Do you want to correct me as I go along or not?
I would say Nesu or Nisu. Depends on how you want to transcribe that.
Nisu, yeah. I don't know what that bird stands for.
Ba.
Okay. Back. Is that a K? No, it's not.
No K in this case. I know what you're thinking of. You're thinking of Bak like servant. Which would...
What is that thing? Is it a Ra?
That would look like... Oh, hang on. Let me do it. that would look like this basically. It's the same bird, but it has an extra K with it. So this is just ba in this case.
Okay. And so what's the half thing underneath?
Oh, that's neb in this case. This one here, you mean, right?
Oh yeah, sorry, I've forgotten that. Nub. Sorry, this is terrible. Chri. No.
Yeah, this puppy here, any idea? It's
No.
So that's Jed, that famous Jed pillar.
Yeah.
This whole thing is a name. Nisu Ba Nebjet, the one belonging to Ba Nebjet, the one belonging to what's the name? The Lord of Jedu, which is Mendes, the like a ram god. Hang on, let me look this up real quick. Because that's the guy's name, Mendes. That's what you make it in Greek. And Nisbanebjet, meaning he of the ram, Lord of Mendes. Here we go. Jedit. And I think I messed it up a moment ago when Jedit. Here we go. So that's the first name. And then there's a second one.
Inub Neferti. Nti
What do you make out of this one?
Imen.
That's right. And the first one here, we had in passing. That's another name. The name is Tentamun. Is actually the wife of Smendes. Oops, let me do this properly. So
Sorry, everyone.
No worries. So that would be Tentamun in English.
Any relation to the other Amun, Wenamun?
It's the same name of the god here. Basically, Tentamun actually literally is like a possessive construction, means she belonging to Amun. A lot of Egyptian names are formed that way, where you have like a possessive marker at the beginning and then the name of a god. And this is no exception. So she's actually named after Amun.
Stui Ir.
This one I have to correct. This one is not Spui. And I think I know which one you're thinking of. Hang on. Getting lost in my keyboards. So this one would be Uj. I think you might be thinking of this puppy. Perhaps. Which is spelled.
So is it would you?
Yeah.
Or is that silent? I
think it's silent. Silent. It should be technically, I think, Uji, and up to you if you want to say that that's still pronounced or not. But there is a personal pronoun at the end. This one here, and so it's really Uji. This one here is up for grabs if you think it's there or not. The infinite.
Uji. Imr Jau.
Let's see, what did you have? So this is E.
R. And then isn't the next one J?
It would be Rot normally. Like, let me spell that out. E for the first one, it's group writing. Next one would be simply just an R.
Yeah, R.
That's right.
And isn't that just Joe?
This one's M.
Ma.
That's right. Technically, ma in group writing is just an M. This is the preposition that you know in Coptic as min or nim. depending on which dialect you're looking at. With
Ah.
so basically, it's Sahidic. It would be this. It's a really wild phonetic rite how to get from to min, but yeah, that's what it is.
And then ma. Harap.
Yeah, heard of something. You're right. Hang on. So this is heard.
Oh, it's the sky. Harape.
Should be, but in this case, it's just a determinative to say above. Otherwise, it would be pet. You're right, but here it's just a sense marker for the word hri, which means to be above or on top of something. And somebody who's on top of a. Any idea how to read this one?
Mun, and then it's some kind of place.
Could be, but there's also an alphabetic
Yeah.
Think of the S sounds.
Sa.
Almost sh.
Sh. Yeah.
And
I think I said sh.
a minish is a type of boat, a type of ship, and somebody who's a heri minish. I've actually glossed it down here as a captain. So this one here is actually that belongs together. Heri minish, which just basically means boat captain or ship captain, and then the name of that captain is also given, and again it's in group writing. So yeah, here's some. So the first one is just an M, right? Just like what we had over here in Iram.
Yeah.
So an
So
M.
is the arm redundant?
The R is redundant. So the way that group writing works is they wanted to specify sounds in foreign words that didn't have a specific spelling in Egyptian. So what you do is you take like some simple combinations of hieroglyphs, often like monosyllabic words, like roh, for example, mouth, or what else, like in, like we, and so on. And you just use those to spell out the foreign name. It's sort of as if you were to use like monosyllabic words in English to spell a foreign language. And that's exactly what they do here. It's not completely true because they also use some uniliterals in there, but you can think of it that way. So each of these blocks essentially stands for like a sound. So this one is M. This one is just N. This here is just G. G or maybe Ga, but probably just G with a vowel after it. This one is the common U, no. But here it just stands for B. And then this one, same T that we had here, it just stands for a T sound. So the guy must be called something like Mangabat, Mangabet, Mangaba, we don't really know. Don't even know which country he's from. Probably somewhere here on the Levantine coast. But yeah, so it doesn't look like an Egyptian name, because if it were an Egyptian name, it wouldn't be spelled like this. Also, you have like the foreign name sign at the end. Like this one stands for foreign lands, and this one stands for, again, foreign lands, and then the little person there to indicate, oh, this whole thing must be a foreign name. So sorry, that whole thing was tricky. That's why I said this. You picked the hardest sentence because there's like so many names in here. There's the name Mendes, and there's the name of his wife, Tentamun. And so now what do we make out of the whole thing? Any guesses?
I am Mengabat. Okay, I'm gonna give up. Someone else take over.
Somebody want to jump in and join and help?
I can do. So you want me to just take over, Rebecca? Or
Yes, please.
Okay, right. So I have then Mendes, or whatever we want to call him, and Tentamun commanded me together with and Captain Mangabat, or whatever we're gonna call him.
Not somewhat like
So we've got the
name or something. Yeah.
so we have the EU plus infinitive construction, and because we have a suffix pronoun after an infinitive, it's actually the direct object rather than the subject. And that's pretty much all there is to it.
That's really all there is to it. And you had absolutely right.
What's the translation? Tell me the translation.
Then Nesu Banebjed and Tentamun commanded me. And really we would say Captain Mengabat.
Yeah. And
what they command him to do is in the next sentence.
Correct. You want to take that one while we're at it?
You can do.
All right.
So EOE.
UE, correct.
Then HI. Probably actually HI. HI. I'm not sure. Or yeah, just ha. Hot. I struggle with infinitives of weak roots. But I do that in. I don't like those in Hebrew either, so I'm at least consistent. Pa. Oh, you've already have that.
Yeah.
Im.
Mm-hmm.
A. N. No, wait. M, of course. Really. Ger. Wait, no. Oh, no, wait. No, that N is an N. I'm sorry. I think I skipped and
You're correct.
comparing what I have here and here. So Ger. Now it's really an M.
Mm-hmm. Correct.
Abed 1. Shemu Su 1. Yeah, Wa.
Okay, perfect. All right.
So they commanded me that I go to the Great Sea, or on the Great Sea to Syria, on the first day of the first months of the season of Shemu, or the hot season.
All right, very good. Yeah. The one thing about does this mean two? I think it's the Great Sea of Syria and not to Syria. Why? Because
I guess
I think N is typically more like in the sense of like the dative for somebody.
True.
But I'm not going to emphatically deny that it could ever be used for destination. But normally that would be R, which makes a sentence a bit.
I think there is a wait. No, that's with people. N can be destinations in Middle Egyptian, but I think then it's with people, right? Not with places.
I think so. Like I said, I'm not going to emphatically deny.
I may have messed that up.
Yeah, maybe there are examples. So I'm not going to say it couldn't be true, but I think it's just a Great Sea of Syria.
That wouldn't be just an indirect genitive.
Yes. Which would make sense because you have an R in between. So if you want to put it as a genitive, you have to put an indirect genitive. You can't just glue it on after the adjective. It would be consistent at least. So yeah.
Down towards a person. And I keep messing that one up. I got that wrong one of our last reading groups as well.
Gotcha.
Right.
Yeah, I've seen that a lot, especially because in English too. If you map everything into English, which I think most of us probably do, to is kind of ambiguous, right? I'm going to the city, I'm giving it to you. There's a much wider range of meaning than in many other languages. Although, you know what, in Spanish it would also work. You can also use a in te lo doy a ti. Me voy a la ciudad.
Should actually be able to remember this from German, because we have a different preposition whether we go to a person or to a place.
Right, für und zu, ja, oder nee, na,
Ja. Ich
na,
gehe zu dir, ich gehe in die Stadt, ich gehe
Correct.
nach Paris, nach Frankreich.
right.
So I'm making this more complicated for myself by thinking English, actually.
True indeed. Some other commentary. So this puppy here, again, group writing. Haru, but it's really just khal or khar, depending on what you want to make out of the ru at the end, if that's an L or an R. And that is just Syria, the whole thing here. You had the dates right. And yam, or at this point in time, if Kilani is right, and this here stands for back vowel, then it would be yom already, just like in, what is it in Hebrew nowadays? Yam again, right? They restored the
It's yam.
Okay,
It's yam in Hebrew. I mean, ah is a back vowel too. So
true.
maybe
True.
not quite as far back, but it does count as a back vowel. So
Right.
if that idea is correct, that could also really just be yam.
Good point. What is it in Coptic? Is it? I thought it was yom. Bear with me, guys.
That would be day in Hebrew. So.
That would be day in Hebrew. Yeah, there you go. Then it becomes yom in Coptic. That's what I was thinking of, because you're right. In Hebrew, it says yam. It never does this. So the Canaanite vowel shift goes further here than in proper Canaanite lands. Okay, doke. I'm not sure if there's much more to say about it.
So is the word for Syria literally hr?
Yeah, her or maybe her. This last ru is a little bit ambiguous as to which sound exactly it could be. So either khil or khir.
Does it mean anything?
It's the way it's spelled. It's just a foreign name, so it means something in the language it was presumably it was imported from, but it doesn't mean anything in Egyptian. That's why they write it with this funky phonetic spelling. They sort of do the thing that we do when we were to spell like C, oops, not in Coptic, C, Ria, like if you were trying to spell things out in phonetic transcription in English, that's essentially what they're doing here when they write Ra, Ru for Khal, because they don't have an existing spelling for that in Egyptian. So you have to make something up. Okay, very well done. Thanks, E.T. And I thought let's have a quick look at the map what we're actually talking about. So our friend Wenamun he's traveled all the way from Thebes, which is not on the map. It would be somewhere down here where my keyboard is, all the way up to Tanis, where Mendes is. Mendes is the first pharaoh of the 21st dynasty. He comes after Ramses the 11th, the last Ramses and last pharaoh of the New Kingdom. Afterwards, basically, the north is being run from Tanis by Mendes and his successors, and the south would be run by the first priest of Amun from Thebes. So essentially, the unity of the country really de facto splits in two. Definitely, the power of Egypt is on the way down in the Levant. Wenamun will find that out later in the tale. He's on a mission to procure timber from up here somewhere. Byblos, so even further north, but he's having way more trouble with that than his predecessors, say, a century before, because the power of Egypt is not quite what it used to be anymore. But in any case, he's just about to set out on his expedition, and it's going to take him to Dor, which is just a little bit south of Haifa. Basically, today it's just ruins, but that is the city that he's going to embark to. Does it say that here already? No, it doesn't, but I think it does in the next sentence. So yeah. Who wants to take the next one?
I can take a stab at it.
All right, go for it.
So it would be EOE Speru er Dyr. I'm guessing that's a name.
It is. It's Dor, the city we just talked about.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Of course. Vademit
Yeah.
and Chakar.
That's right.
So I arrived, I guess, At store, one town of Chokar. Yeah, checker.
Checker. The checker, again, it's spelled in group writing, so it's just ch, k, er. Foreign people, as you see by the foreign people glyphs here at the end, and then the town basically. Checker are one of the sea people. They show up in, I think it's Ramses III in his battles, along with other people from the Levant, basically that, or maybe not originally from the Levant, who knows, but essentially those invaders that the early Ramessides had to contend with. And these guys now seem to be settling in Dor on the Syrian coast, or I guess today will be Israel. Yep, you had that completely correct. Want to do the rest as well? Let's do the next line as well.
Okay. Iuba.
Yeah.
Iubador. Paev. Ver.
I have what? I'm sorry, I missed it.
Ver, your leader, great.
This one here, right?
Yeah.
I would say word.
Yeah,
Ser
okay.
and word often look the same. Helpfully, I've put what I think it is. So it's word, yeah.
Okay. Diini to any Aku, and then it's 50. Don't remember what 50 is in Egyptian.
You?
Okay. Irpu Emsa Emsahe.
Not quite. Oh, yeah, you're right. I'm sorry. My bad.
Okay. Maset NK.
Yeah, there's one word missing, and it's really tricky.
Ah, okay. Is it the Va?
It's a wa. That's
Okay.
right.
So, the servant of Dor, is it that? First Ba?
Ah, good guess. It isn't though. Because servant would be buck, wouldn't it? It would have to be would
Yeah.
have to have an extra K in there. Also note that it has a determinative stroke, and as so often, like when you have foreign names, that is actually part of the name. So that whole thing is the name.
Okay. And his leader brought to me, some sort of bread, 50 breads, and I can't see the rest.
Sorry about that.
And wine, I lost it here. A large vessel, wine in a large bottle.
Right, that's right. So a large bottle of wine, and also maset and ich or iche, ichewa, which I didn't gloss here, but if I remember, it's like a shank or something, or basically like a big piece of meat, beef.
Okay.
Yeah, well done.
So
I think you had it. What do we make out of this one here? Into, into. Technically, we didn't cover that yet.
So he had brought us, he made someone bring us, isn't that?
The second one is it.
Give, bring.
That's right.
Yeah.
So you, basically UF, I mean he, no? UF did, he gave in context. He gave into, just like you said, that somebody bring, or that somebody brought, nai, or ni, to me, and then all the things that they bring. So this is a subjunctive with the impersonal pronoun, just like what he said. All right. Very well done. I think that's really all I can say about it either. So as well. So yeah, translation basically, and Bader, their chief, had 50 loaves of bread, one big vessel of wine and a shank of beef brought to us. So the prestige of Egypt still counts for something. He's showing up, and they're bringing provisions the moment he shows up with his crew. So far, so good. Friendly reception. Unfortunately, things go south fairly quick. Go south because somebody's making off from his own crew, that is Wenamun's crew, with essentially a lot of the travel money. A big vase of gold, also some silver, which was fairly valuable then. So basically, that guy makes off in the night, and Wenamun is understandably ticked. However, what he does about that, we can figure out if that's really a good course of action or not. Maybe if somebody wants to take the first one and then somebody else the other two. I think Chris, Aaron, I haven't heard either of you yet. So if one wants to take one half and one the other.
Chris, you want to take the first one, or I can take the first one?
Yeah, I'll go next.
Okay. You doing?
Hang on, just need to find my keyboard again. Sorry about that.
Sorry, you doing?
You doing? Yep.
Am tai duao.
Mm-hmm.
You shemi.
Whoops. Mm-hmm.
Erpa neti.
Mm-hmm.
Power. Anim.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I'll just do
Uh,
that. Technically, you could say this. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
You jed and F.
Perfect.
So then I got up
Mm-hmm.
in the morning.
Mm-hmm.
And I went to the place where the chief was. It's very grammatically different from English, though. It reads sort of like the in which the chief place was. So idiomatically in English, I went to the place where the chief was. And I said to him,
Perfect. Spot on. Yeah, no, that's exactly it. Few grammatical comments, maybe. Duao means in the morning, and is spelled like this. The weird thing is the Thai in front. I saw that Ali translates it as duait, which is actually a feminine noun, morning, but the spelling should be different. I mean, either it's a typo or he pronounces them the same. Who knows? Just want to point that out. I've seen several places transcribe it as duao, so it's definitely not wrong. Just wanted to highlight there is a noun as well, which is less common, I think. Anything else? Yui Shemi. If you look at how he spells Shemi, that could actually be just pronounced she at this point in time. So it becomes like Coptic she already. So a lot here you could just read out in Coptic. Yui Dewan is basically Dowan. Can I spell that correctly? I think it's spelled like this. I think Dowan. So a Dowan, Emta. I don't know how to say morning in Coptic. I forgot. Emet something, and then a she, erep, erepet. Yeah, this one here you can't really do like this, I think. Or can you? Ebnib Nim or something? Choice Nim? I don't know. Nah, in any case, enough of my pseudo-Coptic. But this is so close already to Coptic, it's quite fun. But yeah, no, perfect. Chris, you want to take the last one? Last ones?
Sure.
Yeah. Okay, all right.
Right. So we have tu e or ti,
Mm-hmm.
cha, tu,
Mm-hmm.
D2. I guess it'd be M or N or M. Tayek Mer.
Right.
Then we have Kher Mtek Pawer. Ni. Wait, is that it? Okay, yeah. Ni Paita. No, yeah, Paita.
Right. Want to take the next one too, and then we do the whole thing?
Sure. Then we have Kher Imtek Payef. Payef, yeah. Smeter. Is it Smeter? Wait, Smeter. Okay.
Who knows at this point in time? I mean, the way he spells it is Smetty, but classical would be Smetter, like you said.
And then we have Wacha. Oh, wait, was that a glyph there? Oh, there
No,
it was.
I took the I took the period
Okay,
out.
I missed that. And then we have Wacha Ba'i Hedge. Well, Hedge Nebu or Hedge.
All right. It's just a hedge, I think.
Hedge.
All right. Well done. Okay.
Okay.
So what do we want to make out of it?
All right. So
Oops, I'm so sorry. Why does it not do this? Just trying to fix the formatting. There we go.
Ready?
Yeah, translation.
Ready? Okay. Sorry, I was waiting on you. So we have so I was robbed. On or in at your port. And it's kind of like a question. And you are the boss or the overseer. You are the I think I put investigator or something. No, you are chief. You are the chief of this land.
That's right.
And you are its and I think this is where I put constable or something like that, or investigator. I think what was it?
Tricky. You're right. It comes from a word that means to investigate.
Judge.
Judge. Exactly.
Okay. Judge.
I think it could be its judge, basically. Its judge.
Okay, and Wacha. My goal, get back. Is that what it is? Get back or find? Not find, but
find. You got it. Find is it.
Find my stuff, my riches or gold.
Exactly. Which is kind of an odd thing to say when you think about it, given there was one of his own people that stole the stuff, right? But that's the play he's making. You are in charge here. This was stolen in your territory, so it's on you. Find it. Let's see how that goes over.
That's how modern jurisdiction works, right? If you wouldn't want a foreign power investigating just because it was one of their people that stole the stuff.
Right. I mean, Wenamun is fun. Let's come back to this. I think next we can do the answer by the chief, basically whether he takes that well and gives him the gold back, or if it goes differently. Okay, cool.
It may be a pride thing that's, if you're the big judge, the big man, it's your mafia territory. Whoever steals, then you're going to want to know about it. It's very cunning of him. Is he a trickster, Wenamun?
Good question. He's certainly not shy. I mean, Let's put it this way. I think he's also relying on that Egypt still counts for a lot. If that's true or not, if you can just basically put your foot down and make all sorts of demands, that's something that probably also has something to do with the firepower of where you come from. That's my very personal interpretation. All right, well done. So there's a ton of grammar stuff in there. There's the her in there for and. We had a whole bunch of adverbs in there, adverbial expressions like in the morning, or before that, in your port, right? This late Egyptian feature that N and M start to interchange, so you have to think really hard whether is it im inside, or is it for, or is it off? That's not so clear anymore because the spelling basically is all over the place. On the other hand, if you've ever done Coptic, you're used to that, where N can basically be like 6 or 7 different things, and you just have to live with it. Yeah, very, very well done. That's the other thing I wanted to say. Any questions about this one?
Well, just to be irrelevant, do you think these sea people, are they Hittites? Are they the same sea people that we get in the Old Testament? Christopher, do you know?
Oh wow. Yeah, nah, I'm of the opinion, the Phoenicians, I mean,
Yes.
yeah. I mean, I don't think do we ultimately know? I was on the side of thinking that maybe they're just Phoenicians because they were known as the sea, going around the Mediterranean. So I mean, maybe I shouldn't just put all that on Phoenicians, but it seems like it's Phoenicians.
Oh, I'm just trying to
As
remember.
I know, the one thing I can answer though is they're probably not Hittites because Egypt was in contact with Hatti, so they would know the Hittites, whereas the sea people, we're not even, as far as I know, we're not entirely sure who they are, but they're from this region and they're generally said to be some Northwest Semitic people,
right?
But often considered like a mixture of many of them.
But I was going to say, I heard they're like a conglomerate of different types.
Yeah, that's why sometimes it's called the sea peoples, because there's several peoples, and that's why Aurelio put the checker as one of the sea people. Oh yeah, that one.
Oh, I mean, I'm also a little bit, that's why I was going like, oh gosh, what do I say when you ask the question? Because this one's tricky. Wow. They're called sea peoples by the Egyptians because from their perspective, they come from the sea, right? They're basically invading from the sea. They come with boats. They try it more than once, both or 3 times. I think it's 2 times at least. They are being beaten back by the Egyptians, but in some massive battles, at least if the temple wall propaganda is correct, like what we see here from Medinet Rabu. We have the names of these folks, and we also have what they look like, although that's kind of hard to see here. But these guys here are obviously Egyptian, very, very visible by the hair, but then you have these guys in between who have like a completely different hairdo. And that's how you typically see people from the Levant. But how they got there's been a lot written just based on the names. So people see Checker and they see Shekelish and they go like, oh, Shekelish, Sicily, Italy, they must have been from somewhere on the other side of the Mediterranean. And I'm sorry, that's complete speculation. Just going by like such I shouldn't say defective, but such an approximate writing system like the Egyptian one, where you have group writing, you don't really see the vowels. L and R are the same. And then just going off like a name that sounds vaguely similar to somebody who lived maybe 1,000 years later. I don't know. I'm getting a major, I put major question marks on that, but it's been talked about endlessly. Like, who were they? Where did they come from? There's some very strong opinions. There's some Greeks who will absolutely swear they must be Greeks. There's some people from other ways in the Adriatic. They have to be from the Adriatic. Basically, there's a lot of pride also woven into those narratives. It has to be one of us, basically. So that makes it really difficult. And as soon as, of course, you have the Bible involved, then everybody wants to tie it to the Bible as well. So it becomes a holy mess of everybody's favorite narrative. And at the end of the day, the cool thing is because of Wenamun, we know that the checker would show up here, at least later live in today's Israel. How they got there, we don't know, but at least we know that there's something outside of these battle scenes that says later, like a few generations later, they're still there under the same name.
It's great. And I absolutely love this picture. It's like a mixture of the Bayeux tapestry and a kind of medieval doom painting.
True. Not wrong, not wrong. Also plenty of arrows flying. Yeah. So no, this is cool stuff. How do we do time-wise? 7 minutes. Quick question on that homework. Was that fun? Was that too hard? More of this? Quick feedback there.
I loved it. From my point of view, more of that. And thank you very much for like the slight help with the weirder words. The one request I would have had would have been all the names, because it took me so long to realize how long that captain's name was. So that could have been helpful, even just the indication, all of that is the name.
Okay.
But that is like the one additional cheat sheet I would maybe request, but I loved it otherwise.
Cool. Thank you. General nodding. Okay, well, I guess then I'll do a bit more of Wenamun or other texts. I think by now we're at the level where I mean, homogeneously we've seen enough of that stuff that it becomes very handleable. But okay, good feedback there on the glossing. Do more of that. Cool.
Could you screenshot that little part of the inscription on the piece you had with the sea peoples and post it in the chat? I wanted to take a look at it.
Absolutely. I'll just take this one right now. Oh, you know what? I'll put it into our Discord chat. That's probably better, because the chat of this goes away afterwards, right?
It would also be useful for those of you that have children or grandchildren as a sort of colouring in thing. Say, here, colour this in. It's black and white. That will keep you busy.
I love that. That's funny. There we go. All right.
Where's Wally?
We've only got a few minutes left. I'm not sure if it makes too much sense that we go into the next round. Maybe I'll just send that out if you guys all want to take a look at it, and then we continue there next time. Yeah, I think let's do that. What I had the end of the session on particles. I mean, we had spoken about, just like a preview, we had spoken about her, basically generally coordinating conjunction and, but, also, while. We had spoken about ir, which was a focalizer, as for something, and then you can take objects, subjects, whatever you want to emphasize. Or you can also use it to take a whole sentence and make it when, if. We've covered par when, because. The next place I wanted to go were these two guys, ja, for essentially to reinforce questions or to give reasons, and also Mick and Peter, basically meaning look and behold. And then the next one would be negations, basically ways of how to say no, of which Egyptian has a whole bunch of them. Although later Neveu has a whole chapter where he pulls those apart. So I would say for next time, let's just focus on the really common one, which is bön, and expand it as bön yuna, which later in Coptic just basically becomes an an, that double, like ne pas in French, where you have like an n in front, an at the back. That's already there in late Egyptian as bön and yuna, or however you want to pronounce this thing. So that's where I wanted to go next time. So I would say,
Egyptian is French confirmed?
Absolutely, but also Mongolian, as we've already found out in the chat, Japanese, English, and I'm leaving aside those really interesting people on Quora that connected to all sorts of other languages, including Chinese. Egyptian is Chinese 1.0. They're very motivated.
And Armenian Macedonian, sorry.
Macedonian. Demotic is Macedonian, yes.
Yeah.
I mean, that's
I'm really intrigued by the question, which sounds kind of American. Why are you so messed up?
Yeah.
It just sounds like marriage guidance, because later on it says, you never give me anything. So I'm really looking forward to that.
Okay, all right. So then in 2 weeks. Yeah, I thought that was actually a fairly accurate translation of what it's saying here. I mean, you can make it more formal, but that's essentially what it's asking. We'll get there next time, but I'll send you the stuff in advance. So if you want to take a look, have fun. All right. With that being said, everybody have a great weekend. Thanks so much for joining.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank
Thank
you.
you.
Goodbye. Never
Bye-bye.
Bye. Have a good week.
See you in 2 weeks.